Hey everybody, this is a live question and answer call that was kind of inspired by corporate. We have a Facebook group that if you participated in the Fall Classic, you probably were part of. It was called, I don't remember what the name was, but they changed it to the Beachbody Champions. They've decided to keep it open as a way to have new coaches or even seasoned coaches learn from some of the top coaches. And early in October, I was asked to make a video on inviting, and I know that there's been many other coaches that were involved and part of the group that were asked to do the same thing. And it seems to be very successful. And I think it was about 3 weeks ago, Keyshawn, who is the West Region's corporate regional sales manager, asked me to do this little trial run. And what she did was gave me an hour in the group that I was delegated to answer any questions that any coaches had. And it really seemed to take off, and a lot of people had excellent questions. And the biggest thing I think for anybody who's part of Beachbody is that we get on the National Wake Up Call every Monday morning. We also get on to Super Saturday 4 times a year and different leadership events and summit, and it helps basically keep people on track and we have different speakers each time that have do the same things that all the other top successful coaches are doing. They just essentially have a different perspective or a different way of teaching it, and so this pretty much allows everybody to learn from different ways of teaching. And so then I thought, okay, maybe we'll do this as a trial run. And so I kind of impromptu asked her if she'd like to help me. She's part of a different team, different upline, but we've become really good friends. She lives in Houston, so I thought this would be great if you'd get two different perspectives, because every team and every upline is different. But like I said, any of the top coaches you talk to, they do the same thing. They, implement the 3 vital behaviors. But I found from people, going to different events and different trainings that certain things resonate with them, or things click because of the way somebody taught it. So I thought we'd open this up. This is a trial run, so I really hope that everybody bears with us. This is a live YouTube broadcast, and I've enabled the question and answers so that anybody can ask a question. And then I thought what Astrid and I would do is both answer the question, and so we might have a different teaching manner, or a different point that where we both can learn from each other and everybody else can. I want to give a few little things before we start. Is I just ended a 7-day behind the scenes of Team Relentless. That way I could educate people who are currently customers, or people who were wanting to learn about the business, so that they could I showed them the benefits and how we earn, and a lot was, really focused on our team, Team Relentless. But so the final, step of that group was opening up this question and answers, and I open all my calls up to the public, so that way other coaches or other people can learn from me. So, just in closing, if you're part of the group, I really appreciate you being part of Team Relentless. Is it for me? And I hope that, some of you could give me feedback, because maybe there were certain questions that weren't answered, which, getting feedback helps me learn, so that the next group that I do for other prospective people or customers who are thinking about coaching, I could, help, add more content in there that will help, or, change things around. So, before we get started with the question and answers, I want to share with everybody is that we're at the end of the year. It's been an epic year for so many coaches. We have a huge network, 230,000 coaches now. This month you have several chances to sign up and join our team, because we have the PIO Kickstart Challenge Pack that comes with PIO, and 3-Day Refresh, and Shakeology, and many other little extras that come with challenge packs on sale for $180. This is a brand new challenge pack. And we also have PIO. I was in the test group and lost 5% of my body fat, 15 pounds and 22 inches, 7 off of my waist in the course of 8 weeks. This is an excellent program. So if you're a part of the group, or if you're watching this and you're not currently a coach, do understand that you can take advantage of this. You can talk to whoever your coach is, or whoever invited you on this call, or invited you into the Team Relentless Is It For Me group. I'm going to open up the question and answers and see if anybody's asked anything. Nobody has. So anyways, I'm hoping that we get some questions. Astrid, can you share your story a little bit, maybe while people were waiting to see if any questions come on?
Sure,
Get to know
absolutely.
who you are. Okay.
First of all, I am a 39-year-old mother to triplets that are 6.5 years old. So their seventh birthday is quickly approaching, and I have always struggled with weight. Before I was about 18, I was just kind of mediocre. I wasn't anything special. You know, I wasn't at high school, but I wasn't big either. I was just average. I got into a really bad relationship when I was in college, and I packed on the pounds. And it may seem from my pictures and my profile picture that I've always been this skinny fit chick, but it's not true. I used to be a really big fat chick, and I had to battle my way through that. The first time I did it, I lost 95 pounds, and I did it all the wrong ways. Everything from staying up all night and partying to drinking to not eating to eating and then throwing up. So the first time around was definitely the way most of us probably had gotten desperate enough to try everything. It wasn't until after we went through infertility, actually I had a miscarriage, then we had secondary infertility, that I started not caring so much about what I look like and more about just trying to get pregnant. And I obviously got pregnant with triplets, and I was on bed rest for 17 weeks, which really did a number on my body. It went everything from not having any muscle tone to having horrible back pain for the next year and a half after the kids were born. So I did not lose the weight with breastfeeding like everybody said I was going to. Yes, I breastfed triplets. The weight stayed on. It probably because I was eating about 3,000, 3,500 calories a day in order to produce, and just call me a cow because that's what I was. Moo. But it wasn't until things started falling apart in my life that I started turning to exercise. And I will be honest with you, I started with running, and that's what got me going. Decided to sign up for a half marathon, and after the half marathon was done, I was left empty. I didn't have a schedule to follow. I didn't know what to do. My husband, when our marriage was, basically crumbling, he was going to borrow the neighbor's P90X, and he lost 70 pounds between that and then following up with Insanity that we had a pirated copy of, which, most of us have gone through before as well, borrowing somebody's or, getting some cheap version of it off of Craigslist or eBay. And we started having common ground again. So what happened there was that we were able to talk about our transformations and what was going on. And, next thing I knew, I was doing Insanities. I wasn't doing the calendar, but I was doing them in between running because I had bad knees. And then I heard about T25. And my husband had already been hounding me for about a year to be a Beachbody coach. And I'm like, how can I be a coach when none of it is, what I do? And so with T25, I decided I was going to sign up as a coach for Born. I'm training for my next half marathon, which is December 21st. I just had double knee surgery in June, so this is a pretty big feat for anybody that's had double knee surgery. And I absolutely love being a coach. It's been 16 months. I'm working really hard, and I am really lucky to have crossed paths with Mindy and really blessed that she has, I hate that word blessed. Everybody uses it, but you know what I'm saying. Glad that she has come into my life and she has enriched my life the way she has and kind of taken me under her wing. So I think we have a couple of questions.
Yes, we do. Thanks, Alfred. That is an amazing story. I'm always amazed at what you've been able to do, and I think so many people think that Beachbody is just for the obese or mild, moderately obese, and or other people think it's for the ultra fit. This is something that it's a one size fits all. It doesn't really matter what your fitness level is or what your story is or what your goals are. It really can be for anybody. So the first question we have comes from Ed Russell. He's actually a Team Relentless coach. He said, "What are some ways you manage your time before you left your full-time job with kids, with work, kids events, and starting a new business?" I'll start by answering, and then you can give your feedback, Astrid. Essentially for me, I hear it all the time that people say, I don't have a lot of time, and I didn't have kids or in sports or any organizations, but for me, I had 3 kids at the time. Haley was 10, and then my youngest was 1.5 at the time, and we lived about 25 miles from town. So every morning I got up and I was racing against the clock to get out the door, get them to school by 8, and Rebel to his daycare, and then me to work by 8:30. And then the girls rode the bus home, which was part of my why, is that I didn't want my children to have to come home to an empty household and do chores to help me because I was getting home so late. By the time I picked up Rebel and got home, it was like 5:45 most days, and I know that a lot of people can relate. Some people actually get home later, so you probably, I'm sure, understand what it's like for your family time. But for me, somebody asked this at the 3 Vitals behavior training that I did on November 8th. They just said, "How did you do this?" I was so tired every evening. And I'm going to tell you, and this is one thing that I tell everybody, I don't sugarcoat it. I don't tell you that it's going to be easy, but essentially, I worked hard. I worked very hard. There were many nights that I got 4 to 6 hours of sleep. There was a lot of weekends, not, maybe once a month, sometimes twice, but I mean, that's more than some people are willing to give up. But I did to travel to go to trainings, to get on calls, to host calls. And, even tonight, it's 8 o'clock. I had to get my son in bed before 8 to get on this call. My husband's not feeling well. But it was not easy, but I, managed my time as best as I could. So when I got home at night, everybody kind of had roles of things to do. I started packing my lunch as my dinner was cooking, or if I could, I would get things ready in the crock pot. That way I could put it in the refrigerator, and then in the morning before I left, dump it right into the little base and turn it on. So I use things like that so that everyday tasks really didn't eat up more time than they had to. And this is something that whether you're trying to manage a business and working full time and being a parent, this really, regardless if you're coaching or not, really help you simplify your life and help you save on time and give you more time with your family. So I multitasked, and it was tough, but then I made sure that once my kids went to bed, my husband and I had a little bit of time together, and then I got to work. And one thing was, I let my family know, number one, what the opportunity was, what I was going for, and why I was going for it. So everybody was on board. My kids worked with me to help reach goals. They knew there was things like the Disney trip, for the Success Club trip in 2013 that they got to go to. If we all worked hard in 2012, they talked about what I was doing. They talked about Shakeology. In fact, I've gotten a couple challengers from things that my kids said and who they talked to. And then when I was at work, there were things where I don't really like to use it a lot, but I think that if you're trying to reach a goal and you have internet access, then use it if you can. I use Hootsuite, where you could schedule your posts. These weren't things that I just scheduled generic posts just to have out there, but there were things that I thought about. I saved things in my notes on my phone or little reminders so that at nighttime I could type them all up and then schedule them. So these were not things that were just figured out right then. I thought about them ahead of time. And then I used my breaks to answer people. I used my lunchtime to do one-on-one calls. I, use every minute to the maximum. And, it was 21 months of hard work, but I was able to leave my full-time job. My kids don't have to ride the bus home to my house. We got to spend all summer together. They're home with me when there's no school instead of having to be at daycare or sitting at home by themselves. I mean, nobody's gotten sick in the year that I've been a full-time coach, but I no longer have to leave them with somebody else or, leave them at home. There was a lot of times Haley had to stay at home with her sister if she was sick, or I had to have somebody run my kids to the orthodontist appointment or whatever. So for me, that's how I manage my time. I think I'll, turn it over to Astrid and see if she has anything to add.
Okay, going back and forth. People are also asking questions in the event because
Oh,
they can't figure out how to ask the questions in
okay.
here. So I
Okay.
just wanted to let you know. Ed, what do I do as far as managing time? I don't know if you can see behind me, but I'm out in my cottage and I actually have a completely different business, Beachbody, and that's a sewing business. Um, it has been really hard for me to manage my time, especially with triplets, especially with a son that has some special needs. He's not autistic or anything like that, but we almost lost him when he was 10 months old, and he's had some long-term repercussions that he has to go to speech and occupational therapy for. So with everything like that going on, what I have found really works for me, and I know that Mindy thinks I'm crazy, but I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I come out to my cottage, which is out here, and I post in my challenge groups and I send my messages and my invites and I connect with people. And I'm sure they think I'm crazy because it's 5 o'clock in the morning. And if you're in California, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. But I have found that is the best time for me to be on, because once the kids go to bed, I'm going to be flat out honest with you. I want to have a glass of wine and I want to relax. And I know that and things are changing. That's not going to happen as much now that I'm really trying to hit my goals in my business. But come 9 o'clock, I want to be done. I need to be in bed because I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. So I think that if you can find a way to wake up 30 minutes early and kind of figure out what you need to do and prioritize in those 30 minutes, it's also going to help.
Yeah, and that's interesting. For me, I'm a oh, I hear like an echo on me. Do you hear echo with me when I'm talking, Astrid, or is it just me?
It's just you. No, it went away.
Oh, okay, good. Um, I'm a night owl. Ever since I was a small child, I'd stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and sleep until 11 or 12. So for me, that doesn't work because I'm not a morning person. So it's one of these things that, if you're not a morning person and you are a night owl like me, then find what works for you. I have Sam Thornton, who's one of my diamond coaches. She's the same way. She goes to bed like she turns into a pumpkin if she stays up past 9. So she's not on this call, but she'll catch the recording of this the next day. You have to find what works for you. But the biggest thing that I'm going to tell all of you is that this is what it comes down to. If you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of your life and your family is on board and is willing to sacrifice a little bit of time with you for 2 years, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? That so people are getting on with this link. Astrid, did you send them the link that I gave you?
What link?
The one that I just sent you in a message? Because some people are joining as speakers, and I'm not sure how.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a Billy and an Allison that just joined that way. I'm not sure how that happened.
Billy's one of the coaches from Team Boss, but
Okay,
he's on mute. He's on mute.
Okay. Okay, I was making sure.
I
Sorry.
don't know.
I think that the biggest thing is as long as you are willing to give up 2 years of your life and really push hard and follow the 3 vital behaviors and step out of your comfort zone and get involved in every live event you can and every training. In the end, you get more time with your family. And I know that a lot of people, don't want to do that for 2 years. And I think that that is your prerogative. But essentially, if you give up that time, in the long run, you get more time with your family. And so I don't try to mask that whatsoever. But it, 5 or 6 hours of sleep, and now I get to sleep in a lot of times till 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning if I want to. And I think that that is, worth it in the end. It's just finding a schedule and finding what works with your personal schedule. Um, if Billy and Allison, if you're in the event invite, can you log out of where you're at now and go onto the YouTube event link inside the event invite, because I think it's causing a lot of feedback by having you in as guest speakers. Does that make sense? Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, Robin asks, how do you grow your connections? How do you grow your connections to grow your business? Do you want to start with that, Astrid?
How do you grow your connections to grow your business? This is a good one because I had a huge warm market lead, and when we talk warm market, this is essentially people that you know and people that you know, that they know, coming to you to seek, help in their journey to lose weight. So I have, after 16 months, pretty much run out of my warm market leads. So I need to learn how to expand myself in the cold market. And what that really basically means is that you need to make connections with people. And making connections means being their friend, being an authentic, legit friend. Not going for the kill, because that's not what you want to do. You want to be the person that's invested in helping them get better, whether they purchase a program from you or they don't purchase a program for you. You need to show that you're going to be there, that you're going to be that consistent person that's going to be there to help. Where can you find these people? Well, what do you like to do? For me, I love to run. You can join running groups. Running people need good nutrition. Shakeology for me is a key factor in my nutrition, because I'll be honest with you, I've never eaten well. I've always binged, and I've always, gone the purging way when I felt guilty about what I ate. So I know that every morning when I drink my Shakeology, it is healthy for me. So when I'm talking to runners, I'm like, this is really going to help you. Not only does it help you rebuild the muscles that you're pushing to the limits, but it's nutritionally sound and good for you overall. The other thing is that I'm a triplet mom, and there's a small, I say small, a relatively small community. So I'm part of those Facebook groups with the triplet moms. And when it comes time to them wanting to get back to their pre-triplet body, they come to me, and it's because I'm authentic and I'm in there and I'm participating and I'm part of their daily life. So what you really need to do is start reaching out and finding groups, going to social events, and being friends with people. And your network is going to grow leaps and bounds, but you have to put yourself out there. And for somebody like me, and I know it doesn't seem like right now that I'm a very shy person, but I am extremely shy when it comes to actual live interaction with people. So this is my biggest hurdle that I have to overcome, and I'm starting to do it. So those groups that you can think of, photography groups if you're into photography, gardening groups if you're into gardening, car groups if you're into car groups. If you're a huge fan of the Hunger Games and there's a Facebook, fan Hunger Games page or group or whatever, go join it, start participating, show yourself. People are going to start friending you. You're going to start friending people, and that's how you grow your network. That's it.
I think that's great. Is I always tell people is that I'm gonna take this out. I think. Can you hear me now? The biggest thing is that I became a coach. I had like 200 or 300 friends maybe, and so I hear lots of people say I don't know anybody and I don't go anywhere. Well, like I said earlier to start with, is that I went to work after dropping my kids off, and then Rebel went straight home. We had no life until he was about 3. We didn't go anywhere because he was in bed by 7:30 every night, 7 or 7:30, and I was a stickler about naps to keep him healthy because I didn't have much vacation or sick time, and I didn't have family to help. So I was in the same boat as so many people out there. I've heard people who live in big cities say, I don't have, there's no warm market. Social media is a gift because a lot of people are socially awkward or, have, fear of judgment. And so sadly, we can hide behind a computer, keyboard, or a phone nowadays, and we can connect with people. And more people are turning to this because of text, because of email, because of Facebook, because of Twitter, because of Instagram, because they're busy, and because it just becomes where we become very socially awkward because of that. But it can be used to your advantage if you're not somebody that's a big people person. It's easy to communicate back and forth on Facebook. So the thing like Astrid said was, find groups. There's groups out there for everybody. That doesn't mean that you join your local basket weaving group on Facebook because you like to weave baskets, and then you start friending everybody and then barraging them with, well, my challenge, pad, join my challenge group. But you can find people that are interested in the same things. Because this is one thing that I teach everybody is that you may have 300 friends on your Facebook, people that you know locally, people that you went to school with, people that you went to college with, people that you work with. Not everybody is going to be, in the same demographic or audience that you're trying to target or that you're going to connect with the most. So just because these are the friends you have now, don't mean that they're going to be your, next challenger. Some people might not ever come around, or some people might not have a connection with you. So you have to find other avenues. So for me, as soon as I became a coach, even though I was super private and was scared of we had a lot of family issues, and I didn't want people knowing about things in my life. I just took the leap and I opened my Facebook up to public because I know from experience that once I found my coach, I watched her for several days. I went to her sister's profile. I went to her husband's profile, and that's how I got to watch them to know if I could trust her and to make the decision to make her my coach. And there's other things like that I discovered called Follow Mom. Somebody told me today that they could find an answer. I'm not really sure about that. I have an iPhone. But basically, you put in your children's information, if you have children, and you put in your zip code, and it finds the local moms around you. I know for me, that's my demographic. That might not be Richard Reel's demographic, is a mother. But for me, it was. So those are the people I'm trying to appeal to. Those are people I can relate to. People that I can connect with. If you use Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, I know there's Pinterest. You find your niche. If you know something about SEO and you do blogs, whatever it is. But for me, as I become a coach, or become a better coach and learn more and stepped out of my comfort zone, I have learned to be able to talk to more people. I told a story the other day, I think on a call, that I came home from being gone for 2 whole days a couple weeks ago with Louise. We went to Houston. And, I did a training, and I also attended the training. And I was so tired after getting my kids from my best friend, and I'm standing in line at this, local barbecue place. We went to take the kids because it was like 8 o'clock by the time I got to town. And Rebel was just being a pain. If you have a 4-year-old, you know what that's like. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I'm so tired. And this girl knew that I was just bewildered. And she's like, what's wrong? And I said, I was been gone for 2 days. The first thing I want to do is see my kids, and I miss them. But then they act like kids, and I'm just like sitting there going, oh my God. And she's like, well, where have you been? Well, you know what? You know how many people and are faced with these kind of conversations, and you're tired, you're exhausted, you don't want to talk to people. And I kind of felt that way, and I was like, oh, what do I do? And I was like, okay. And then so I told her, I said, I'm in health and fitness, and I was doing this training. And she's like, oh, okay. And she started asking questions. She's like, I need to do something. And so we started talking, and the next thing I know, there's 3 people standing behind her, and I'm having this conversation with them. And then I said, I ran a fitness. Some remodeling of schools. And they said, if you can, keep your eyes open for a new routine. I'm like, and while you're at it, why don't you recommend Facebook? And so that's how I connected with people. So those people aren't necessarily somebody who's going to buy the Pile Kickstarter or the Pile Challenge Pack this month, but it's somebody who's on my Facebook, and they'll watch me, and they'll be able to learn to trust me. They're going to learn something about me because as I'm sharing stuff and stepping outside my comfort zone, it allows other people to get to know me. And then in the meantime, while they like my statuses or they comment on it, it pops up in somebody else's newsfeed. Because I have a public profile, that allows other people to comment on it or see me. Because somebody the other day sent me a friend request. I said, how did you find me? She said, I've been trying to lose some weight, and it kept seeing you pop up in my newsfeed, so I sent you a friend request. Because I have a page that makes it, where I am approachable, where I am inviting, where I'm asking questions, I'm getting people to engage in conversation with me. I'm, inviting them to be part of my life. So that makes it that way. Another thing was the other day I was buying some Mardi Gras masks for Louise and I. We're doing the Super Saturday in Houston. And it's the Mardi Gras theme that Astrid actually came up with. And then I was buying some gifts for my, personally sponsored diamond coaches to give them at the end of the year. And, the girl was asking me, like, well, what are you doing this, for? And so I started telling her what I do. Well, then, we found each other, we exchanged information, so I got her information, not just gave her my card like I used to do, because I want to make sure that I can find her and start a, conversation with them, because, how many people have gotten a business card and thrown it away or washed it? So that's how I make those connections. And then lastly, the biggest way for me to grow my network for, I'm like, I think I'm 100 people away from, 5,000 um, uh, friends on Facebook is the fact that the challengers that I have, I treat exceptionally well. I, you know, it is hard to manage, so I know sometimes I don't get to talk to somebody every day, but I do check on them regularly. I work with them. I get to know them. I know what their struggles are. I know what their, if they are having surgery or if they have, their child's birthday's coming up, and I connect with them and I talk to them. And so when they do that, everybody wants to feel special and important because sadly, many of us don't feel that way every day. So when you do that, that makes them want to please you because you think about the person that, you feel the most loved by. You don't want to disappoint them. You want to have a conversation with them. You want to stay in their life. You want to make them proud. And so when that happens and you build these relationships with your challengers and you just don't see them as a number, a PV point, a success club point, a dollar sign, and you treat them like real people and you make them your best friend. I mean, like Astrid and I, we're just fellow coaches in the same area. We've become very good friends, and it is because of the relationships that I've learned to build, and so has she through Beachbody. When you do that, then people recommend you. When they do that, then there's things that makes you feel special. Like Astrid, I asked her yesterday, like literally yesterday, hey, do you want to co-host this with me? And then I was like, she said yes, and she jumped right to it. She didn't ask any questions. I knew she was nervous, but she just did it. And so then I'm like, hey, Astrid's a bomb, and I tagged her on Facebook. Not that that means it's going to attract 10 challengers for her because of my one post, but when you have those relationships with them and people start seeing people tag you and tell, you start talking about your challenger lost 10 pounds, in 21 days of 21-day fix or whatever, then this builds your reputation. This builds that whenever you say I'm going to help you, and when you say you're going to do this, that there's actual proof that you do it in somebody's transformation or their words. And as you do that, people start saying like, I can trust you because, I see people all the time on Facebook locally and people that maybe I went to school with posting about their different ventures that they do, whether it be health or fitness or some other network marketing company. And they're, a lot of them I see are have not been trained on how to build relationships or to really research it. So they just post links after links after links on their Facebook and, join this or buy this, and people are so disinterested that they ignore it. And then I never see them posting anything about people's transformations. I don't see anybody saying this person or this product's awesome because of the way they're not marketing themselves, they're not building relationships with people, and they're obviously, or if they are selling a product, they haven't built that relationship to help them get their transformation so that their customers, who should be their friends, are product of the product. So, overall, that's how I build my, my business. Let me see, we have another question.
And we also have a couple on the event.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Lindsay said, what advice and encouragement would you give someone that says they want to have results to show before they become a coach? You want to go ahead, Ashford?
Yeah, absolutely. I get this all the time, and I believe that some of the most successful coaches are the ones going through their journey because, for example, when I do a program and I'm at my goal weight, I fluctuate 5 pounds at max. When I do a new program, like when I did PIO, I only lost 4 pounds and I only lost like 5.5 inches. And a lot of people don't see that as enough of a transformation for them to connect with you. I think it is even more important that you share exactly what you're going through in your journey because it makes you more real, more connectable. A lot of people come to my Facebook page or they see my profile picture or they'll tell me when I tell them I was fat, and I was fat, and I can say that because I was fat. I was the girl that nobody opened doors for. I was the fat girl's, I was the fat friend at the club, that the ugly guy always got stuck with. So I was fat. And when people see somebody that's big going through their transformation and sharing their experiences, they're in that moment and they can connect with you, So that journey is really important. Like when I post about my journey, I have to dig really deep and say, God, what was exactly what was I feeling in that moment that I can share with other people, that I don't look like just this skinny, fit chick that had triplets that nobody can believe that was the case, you know. I'm not as relatable now that I've lost the weight, and I always have to go back and share my story and my journey for people to understand that, yes, I get where you're at. So if you're a coach, or if you think you want to be a coach and you haven't lost that weight, the key is to share your experience. It's making, again, we're going to go back to that question before where you're making that connection. That's the key there, because you are going to have more connections with somebody else that needs to lose weight than I do. I mean, I'm battling the same 5 pounds over and over and over and over again. So, you know, you have to just share that and know that that is absolutely one of the best ways to connect with people.
You know, to hit on that is that I've heard the same thing, and so for me, I know Lindsay. She is part of my downline, and she is participating in the Team Relentless Is It For You, sneak peek. And so, one thing that I share is Amber Scott's story, so that people understand is that she started her journey at 300 pounds, and so so many people think that in order to be into health and fitness, you have to be super fit. I know actual personal trainers who are not super fit, and they still help people. The biggest thing is that there's so much information out there that people just want some help. Like for us, you're a friend. You're their personal cheerleader. So I always tell people, you don't have to be at your best. You don't have to reach your goal. And actually, like Astrid said, people can't relate to her very well now. She has to go back and share the whole story, and I'm the same way. That's why I'm constantly sharing where I started and what I'm like, and that my story is that I hate to work out, that I don't like to work out at all, and so that's more impressive to people that oh, you've built a successful business in a career that you had no experience in, and you still don't like working out. So yes, anybody can do this. So I always share that with people and tell them that people like to watch you, like Astrid said, and then and then when you do reach your goal, you actually have to go back and revisit who you were. So I tell people that, and in the end, that some people, I never want to lose people by pushing that on them, but a lot of times people have this mental image of what they think they should do. They even think that they have to know everything, and I'm like, no, there's so many guides back there that can help you, and I try to build the confidence and debunk their myths that they have created in their head or heard or assumed. And so I shared relatable stories, and then in the end, I always tell them, you can always become a coach just to be able to make sure that you stay on Shakeology, and so that you see the discount. And whenever you're ready to go public, you can. I always call them like an incognito or behind the scenes or top secret coach or VIP, customer, whatever way makes them feel comfortable, because the last thing we want them to do is not join our challenge group or not join our team just because they're scared that they feel pressured. So I've learned now, because in the beginning I didn't communicate it, but now I'm communicating with people that you go at whatever pace you want. You share whatever information you are comfortable sharing with, and I don't compare you. Lindsay Sims is freaking awesome. If anybody's following her, you should. She's went diamond in 42 days, and she has built a really solid team in a short amount of time, knowing nothing. And she didn't even start drinking Shakeology, but she's done this, and she has like a 4.5-month-old son, Brady. So I always tell people that you can go fast like that, or there's other people that have been coaches on my teams, since the beginning of when I became a coach almost 3 years ago, and they've remained a discount coach. And I hate to label that, but they're comfortable with just getting the discount, and so I treat them more like a challenger per se, which kind of goes against what Lori Stewart said. But I maintain a relationship with them and check up on them, and I always let them know that in any point in time there's that open door to do a little bit more. Somebody that I'm really close to, who's been a coach since I don't know when it was, June of 2012. I think I looked up the other day. She just started to go public, and she just made the goal to start being a working coach and learning more about the business, and then start really getting started in 2015. So I always tell people there timeline. I'm not comparing you to Lindsay. I'm not comparing you to Louise, who went diamond in 90 days, or anybody else. I don't have any expectations for you until you tell me what your goals are and we work on it. So to me, that's how I kind of get around it. And then if If not, then I just, really stay focused on them, help them get their transformation, because as customers get their transformation going, people start asking them questions. If you get them engaged in your challenge group, they start to see the benefit of being part of Team Beachbody. If their whole family doesn't support them and never tells them, like, hey, you lost weight, you look great, because families, just let's face it, they can be jerks. But they have you saying, way to go, that's awesome, it's 2 inches off your waist and you're down 3 or 4 pounds. Really, I see, big things happening for you at the 6-month mark, and you're that personal cheerleader, and you make them feel like the most important person in the world. They're going to appreciate you. They're going to love you back. They're going to want to do whatever it is to keep you in your life, because there's not too many people who just, discard people who make them feel important. There are some self-sabotagers and people who have abandonment issues, I suppose. But I'm saying, but overall, if you make them feel that like the most important person in the world, you're going to be somebody special to them. So I hope that answered that question. Let's see. Somebody asked in the group. Let me get to it real quick.
Yeah, it says, Kelly says, how do you stay organized with your business and customers? I know. I'm so bad at this one.
Well, we use Automatic CEO. It has been
Yes.
developed. I get this question all the time. So I see that you're using Automatic CEO. What are your take on it? Okay, number one, Doug Fitzgerald. He has an awesome voice, but that's besides the point. He developed it. He's a founding coach. It has been approved by compliance, and most of the top coaches that I've spoken to use it. So my thing is, if somebody's successful, if somebody's a founding coach, if they're still in this business 7 years later and they've developed this to make their life easier, and most of the successful coaches that you want to be like are using it, then use it. Automatic CEO is a system where you can essentially put all your customers in, and you can enroll them in autoresponders. So for perhaps somebody purchased a challenge pack, you put them in there and you enroll them as a challenge pack customer. Well, then this has it so that, on day 7, I think, they say, hey, did you get your, challenge pack? How you like your Shakeology? Then there's another one on, I think, day 10 or 14 about make sure you sign up for the Beachbody Challenge. And there's this stuff right there, because the thing is in the beginning, I was able to keep track of it, and I still have a pretty good memory, but whenever you get over 1,000, challengers like myself, especially if there are people who, if you're Emerald rank or above and you're getting customer leads and Success Club leads and you don't actually know these people and you may not hear from them, then you have to have some system. And I am super disorganized. I have a great memory, and I've got notepads like there's nobody's business, but they're everywhere. So for me to be able to keep that customer base, I have that in there. They have emails where you can go in and they customize emails with, it looks pretty, and there's a higher rate of people responding, because I think that the way, I don't know, because I'm not good at internet or technology, but there's some way that it doesn't go right to their junk folder or spam folder like with the Coach Online Office. I don't know, but I get more response from it that way. And there's autoresponders, and there's scripts in there that you can use when you're talking to people. There's actually an Emerald training group and a Diamond training group that you can subscribe your coaches to train them. So this goes with them. I don't know how to train my coaches. If you have Automatic CEO, or if you actually look in the Coach Online Office under reference materials, there's how to train your coaches. So there's certain things like that this, if you remember, this is a business. If you treat it like a business, it becomes a business. So that's how we get organized. I use my calendar on my phone to set an alert for if I have calls or if I need to follow up with people. I also have like a day planner I use. It's kind of all over the place, and everybody's different. My coach is super organized, so she uses spreadsheets. Spreadsheets make me want to just scream. So I can't really say what's the best or what works or doesn't work, because it really depends on who you are. But if you listen to the National Wake Up Call, not yesterday, but the Monday before, Danielle Capps talked about Evernote, which I've been using. I use Evernote to create scripts. Like everything that I use for the content of the Team Relentless, is it for me, sneak peek group, the coach training group that I have just started facilitating, that I'm creating. It's not something on the Coach Training Academy. I have every script, every day's post that I put in there. Same thing with the rank advancement training that we have going on that Lindsay's in. I have all that in there. My coach welcome email is in there, so I can always copy and paste it and customize it whatever way I need to. whether I'm home or on the road. And then I can also send it to, like I send it to Lindsay saying, here, use this, customize it and personalize it and use for your team. So those are ways that I get organized. It just, you know, it comes down to finding a system and sticking to it, in my opinion. Do you have anything else, Astrid? I know we're both kind of all over the place.
Yeah, that's I'm just about as ADD as she is. So when it comes to trying to figure out a system that actually works, the only thing that has actually worked for me is writing down my schedule. And somebody tagged me in this planner, and I went and looked at it. I know Mindy's getting it for 2015, and I'm really excited about it. But passionplanner.com, you can actually download and print out just plain sheets because you can't get the 2014 planner anymore. And I have found when I sit down, I make my schedule and I stick by it, and it really helps me move through the day and not getting stuck in one area. Another thing that you need to think about when you're thinking about your time is, what is your priority? I have it right here because all my PD books are here. Eat That Frog. I don't follow it exactly, but it made me understand a lot better about how to prioritize what things I need to do and eat that frog, basically, which is your biggest challenge of the day. Don't keep putting it off. Don't procrastinate. Just do it. So if you come up with a schedule, you stick to it, and you don't fiddle-faddle around. I mean, how many of us sit there and scroll down our Facebook wall, and then it's 30 minutes later, and those 30 minutes are thrown away? So this is something that I'm really going to work hard on to implement starting. I actually have already started it, but with my first challenge group. There's also things like Hootsuite and Sendable.com that can help you schedule posts so that you don't have to be stuck to your computer all the time. You can go in on a Sunday night. You can schedule all your posts for your challenge groups and then just pin those posts at the beginning of every day when you wake up and go to your computer so that you actually have more interaction time as opposed to sitting behind the computer and typing time. So that's what I have.
Yeah, and that's right. You know, that's why I was thinking about Hootsuite. I don't use it now because I am home and I have access. And so I do suggest, because I know Melanie Mitro does that, but this kind of goes hand in hand with what Danielle Katz said on my team call, which is on my YouTube channel. What she said, I don't know, I had 2 team calls last week, Thursday on the 20th.
Yes.
She's talking about having some sort of plan. And, you know, she said this on the National Wake Up Call, too, is having some plan. I don't want all the people who are super anal about things to get so stuck to the plan that they don't just go. There kind of has to be a balance between making sure you see this as a business and, you know, taking it seriously and having some sort of plan and action and thinking ahead. But also there has to be a little bit of like impulsiveness and fly by the seat of your pants, because the way you market yourself, the way you share things on social media is not a one-size-fits-all. You have to be able to kind of go with the flow. But the biggest thing is that having some plan. You don't want to just wake up one morning and be like, oh, God, what should I put in my challenge group, or what should I put on Facebook, and then just throw stuff and hope it sticks, or you steal content that you saw Melanie Mitro or you saw Danielle Henson or Melissa McAllister or Chris Reed or one of the top coaches do, and then because if it doesn't match your audience, or if you're just putting it out there to just do your 4 to 6 posts a day that you heard you're supposed to do and it's not reaching your audience, you're wasting your time. So be conscious that, you know, be thinking, and this is something that it didn't happen overnight. I really was not a social media guru, still not, but I'm getting there, is that learning how to read your audience, learning how to post something that is educational, adds value, informative, gets them to interact with you, and helps you learn about them. This is something you have to do. So in the beginning, you're probably going to be real sloppy on social media, but I'm hoping that if you pay attention and you start, you know, engaging in conversation with your audience, you'll learn how to market yourself. But the biggest thing, like Astrid said, and this is something I'm doing, is I make a list of what I need to do, and I do it on the notes on my phone, or sometimes depending on if it's the beginning of the month or week to week, I put them in my planner. There's a little side note there. And then I always make sure that most people go and finish the easiest thing to do. Well, if you finish 5 easy things and leave the 2 hard things on your list, but the 5 easy things they're not productive, and they don't create, you know, results that are helping you reach your goal, then you wasted your time. And if those things are not like time sensitive imperative, you're wasting your time. And it's easier just, to think, oh God, it might take me 2 hours to get those 5 easy things done, but it may take me 5 hours to get that one thing done. But if that one thing helps you get, closer to your goal, then that's what you should do.
We
So
have
it's
two.
all
I think we have two more questions that we need to answer.
what was that?
Um, okay. How do you keep challengers engaged in groups? Oh, where'd it go? How do you keep challengers engaged in groups till the end? They start off strong and then seem to all but disappear no matter how much the coach participates.
Well, and that's okay. So that's been a challenge for me because I think we probably have all ran into challenge group or even like the coach training groups. People start to peter out at around week 2, and then on week 3, you're lucky if you have 2. I have a rank advancement group right now, and I have the same 2 or 3 people posting all the time, and the rest haven't. So the thing is it's so easy to just stop posting yourself and get discouraged. I will say that I'm guilty of doing that. But my suggestion is that you work with those 2 or 3 people that are posting and going because, I went to Danny Johnston. I've read all of her books, and there's a difference between the 98% who do it one way and 2% who are ready to take on, and the 2% are the ones that are going to run your team and are going to create the most results. So don't completely shut down a challenge group or a training group because not everybody's participating. Things happen. People get distracted. I myself have, and people lose interest, and it's hard to say too because every challenge group is made up of different types of people, so you don't know. The biggest thing is what I've learned to do now is make sure that I set expectations. This is what I'd like you to do, and this is why I want you to do it. I'd like you to interact in the group because you're going to be more successful. You're going to have peers, or you're going to have people that you're going to relate to. And then I keep it fun. I, do things like today. I was like, post a picture of your refrigerator and your goals. And, I posted my before picture last night because I had broken my toe, and it's been 8 weeks since I've been able to work out. So today was the first day, and it didn't hurt for the first time. So there's things like that, and I'm sharing my foods, and I'm educating them at the same time. And sometimes it's slow going, and sometimes people don't ever post, but they watch. And the biggest thing is that you keep going and that you don't abandon that one person, because I've seen so many people who this is outside of challenge groups, but I've seen people who get 2 success club points in the month, and they're so upset that they didn't get 5. And I stopped actually talking about success club points in my group because I got to see that people were comparing themselves to each other, and people weren't hitting. They were falling off completely because somebody else got more than them. But I see people who get 2 success club points, and they're so bummed that they didn't get 5 or they didn't get whatever their goal was, that they totally forget about that one person that they did get to commit to them, and that they did build a trusting relationship with. And so I say the same thing with challengers is don't forget that if you only have one person, consider yourself lucky. Then that person gets all of your time and your energy and your love and your focus. And so you only have to manage one person. So that find out what works. If try different things. Try posting videos. Try posting challenges. I tried doing before things like, somebody will get a free gift, and we're going to do a point system where, if somebody post workout sweaty picture, you get a point. If you post your Shakeology, if you post your meal or this, and oh my God, that was like, it was a nightmare to tally up the points because there was like 20 people in the challenge group. So don't do something that makes it where there's more work or drives you crazy, but find different things. Post. Ask them to post recipes. Ask them to post their favorite quote, their favorite YouTube video, something that's about that in them, their favorite thing. I mean, just try different things and see how they respond.
I have done a lot of those that Mindy said. I have also, in my last challenge group, and it was the first time I've ever done it, and this challenge group just happens to be super duper amazing, but I asked them to post a video of their why. Like, why are they here, and what has the challenge group helped them with that they would have otherwise probably failed at their efforts? And when that happened, Oh, and I offered a prize, a small prize, tiny, but it was still something that was an incentive. And at the end of the day, the videos were amazing, and it got so many people re-involved in the challenge group, and it was a very positive experience. So there's a lot of different things like that that you can do. You can challenge them to post their favorite move. You can challenge them to post a sweaty selfie, like Mindy said, a picture of your refrigerator. You can ask them to post pictures of their family. I wouldn't oversaturate the group. And what I mean by that is you don't want to put like 10 things that they need to do that day. Obviously, they need to eat well, they need to work out, and they need to post, a sweaty selfie or their favorite move or a picture of their family, but not all of the above. So that's something to be mindful of. And there's always going to be people in your challenge group that are backseat people. They don't want to be in the driver's seat. They are going to hang out back there, and that's all that they're going to do. They're going to be motivated by what they see in the group. So the best way to reach out to them is through private message and say, hey, I haven't noticed you've been posting, so I want to make sure you're okay. How are you doing with the program? Do you have any questions? How's the progress going? And continue to have that conversation with them and show them that you're there for them.
And that's one thing that I want to just say one last thing about that is that that comes down to building relationships with people and paying attention to them. I urge you all to go to colorcode.com, and I think that if you use the coupon code Beachbody Coach, you save 50% on the full analysis. This is going to help you learn about the different personalities. So the people that hide behind the shadows of the group are usually the white personalities. If you learn about the white personality, you will learn what motivates them and what gets them engaged. And just paying attention, just making sure that you're not just throwing shit against the wall hoping it will stick. It's right at 9 o'clock, but we have one last question, so I guess we'll just answer it pretty quickly. It says, naturally, as with anything, you're going to get no's, but how far should you delve into someone's no before you roll with loss and move on? For me, no is never a final destination. It's a not right now. I actually told my coach when she said, you should become a coach, I said no. And then I said, I don't have enough time. I don't know a lot of people. I don't, talk to many people. I don't want to be a salesman. I haven't reached my goal yet. I've only been drinking Shakeology and P90, doing P90X for 13 days. And so I, just learned. She had a comeback for everything I said and never made me feel pressured and was not, didn't beg me, but she just disproved everything that I, said. That's a whole different call. You can check my YouTube channel, and there is actually a video from November of last year. It was about a year ago. It was one of my first videos I made after being a full-time coach, which is like the myths of coaching, where I talk about that, of how to overcome objections. But the thing is, don't ever scratch those people off your list, because it means they may not be ready then. You may not have shared the value with them. You may not have dug deep enough and got their why. You may not have taken the time to build a trusting relationship with them. There's different things, and this is something that can be accessed on overcoming objections. There's videos from, let's see, I can't remember who it is, but there's, things from the summit where there's workshops. There's a document under the Coach Training Academy and reference materials that actually talks about that. So all I have to say is make sure that you keep these people on your list, you keep checking up on them, and you keep building a relationship with them, a trusting relationship. And, because if they say no, you may have made them feel pressured, like I said, and then if you just discard them like trash and you don't go back and check up with them and you don't make them feel that you actually care about them, then, and I'm not saying that the person who asked this question did that, but I'm saying then they may just be like, well, I'm never going to order, something for Beachbody again because all they want is my money. But if they actually see, because I have a lot of coaches who told me no, 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 no for a year, and then they signed up to be coaches, and they have been my rock stars, and they've been, not that we spend a lot of time talking, but they've required the least amount of training because they sat back, and after they said no repeatedly over and over and over again, they watched me closely for a year. And then once they decided that they could do it, because I built a relationship with them, I taught them to believe in themselves, and I showed them that I truly cared, when they were ready and they signed up as a coach, they knew exactly what steps to take, and they've not missed events. They've drove all the way from Southern California or Central California all the way to Vegas in June to meet me, to go to Summit, because they knew from watching me that those were going to be the catalyst to their business and building their business. So the thing is, just because somebody says no doesn't mean that they're not watching you or they're not interested. It's just that they need some more time to believe you and to build a trusting relationship and believe in themselves. So just make sure that you keep checking up with them, because they might be your future rock star coach maybe in a year or two. If you're committed to this business and you're not going anywhere, then when they're ready, they'll come to you. Because the thing is, if they express some interest in the beginning, that means that they are interested. And so I would hate for you to get discouraged, and I always tell coaches, I'd hate for you to get discouraged and quit the business, and then whenever they are ready, go to somebody else because you weren't there. So remember, you started this journey for yourself, and you're going to get lots of no's, and if no still hurts your feelings, makes you uncomfortable, kind of like Lori Stewart said today about on the National Wake Up Call, then you're not asking enough and you're not putting yourself out there enough. The worst anybody could say is no. I'd hate for you to not reach your goal by not asking at all. So with that, we'll close. If you are part of the event invite on Facebook, make sure that please share your feedback with us, because this is going to help us. And if this is something that you'd like to see, once a month, like I said, I would be willing to do this once a month for my prospective customers and my current challengers and people on my team, to invite other people in. And so we'd like to, have your feedback. Did you have anything else to say in closing, Astrid?
Nope, I don't. I enjoyed doing this very much. It was neat to actually do something with you, and I look forward to doing more.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.